Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. Thank you for coming back and I hope you've been enjoying these videos. I hope you're having a good day. But today, this video is on old Onan air filter elements. See, this is an old Onan air filter element out of our P216G in our 416 wheel horse. That is the 16 horsepower. And there is nil stock for a new one in Australia right now or currently. So we found another air filter that does the same job and it still works. It's a 6-cylinder Holden air filter out of the 186 or 202. It goes down in the airbox, fits pretty snug, but problem is it sits up on this ridge, but it holds a tight air gap. The difference between this air filter and the old air filter is that the wheel horse's air filter is bigger on the inside diameter, but the Holden air filter is about 1.5 centimeters bigger than the outside diameter. As well as it's a little bit taller. But that's okay. We put it in our airbox. Sits in there quite nicely. Except for sitting on the ridge, which is okay. You can put a little bit of rubber mat on the underneath, just along the bottom there, in that bit. But for us, we haven't done it yet, but we might get to that soon. With your air filter box, your air filter hats, there's two types of hats, as you can see here. This is the older air filter hat. This is the newer air filter hat. This one goes down in big steps. This one goes down in one go. The problem with these is, for this air filter hat, it goes in the air filter, but it sits inside of it more than the other one. So you've got to push it down inside, because these are smaller on the inside than the OEM air filter elements. But it sits in there quite nicely. But with the later model, how it goes down in steps, it goes and sits on top and just stays on the top of it, as you can see there. It stays on top of it. And for this element out of the Holden, we've got a bit of pre-cleaner foam, you can call it, out of an old Briggs motor, ranging from 24 horse to 27 horsepower. Slides on there quite nicely, does the trick. That goes in there. For this box, we're using the older air filter element, or older air filter hat, just to show you what the modification we've done. But for the older hat, it goes on, but the problem is our modification, this one here, if you can see it, doesn't work in that hole. So if you have this air filter hat and you're looking to do this modification, you're going to have to put a nut in there, weld up a bit of pipe on there, just a little bit. You're going to have to measure this at home yourself, but you've got to have that down tight, so screw it all down tight. Put your little bit of pipe on there for however high the bolt goes out of the nut, and then you weld your second bolt on top, so you can get that extra room. But since we're using the newer hat, the ones with the steps, it goes on. We've got our piece here. You screw it on top, but first it's the original wing nut, about 12 mil of pipe, and the bolt on there, and you screw it on like so. As you can see, it's screwed on now. Get it down nice and tight. Once it's down nice and tight, you take the top off your airbox lid. You gotta see which way it goes. These are a rectangle airbox, so you just gotta get that mounted. But as you can see, it comes to the problem with the gap. So to fix that problem, we have some rubber lining. You can get this from your local rubber and foam shop. As you can see at the end of it there. It's a bit hard to see because it's a little bit darker, but yep. And we've had this mounted on for a little while, so just got to find how it mounts up. You just push it on the end, like so. And you just keep squishing it on. Push it down nice and tight. For the end here, you can see there's a little gap for the cut. You can fill that in if you want. We haven't chosen to do that yet. As well as for here on the airbox, there's no air gap. But that is okay because since this air filter element is bigger and more in circumference, it will still get in about the same amount of air and more. So that's all good. And now if you take your top, you can now put it on the top. You just got to find out which way it goes because it's a rectangle airbox. And then it's all good. But for your older air hat, you're going to have to figure out your measurements yourself. We haven't done it yet. Once we do it, we will probably put out a video on it. Yep. Just put that on. Screw it down. Of course you want to do this on the mower so you can have your carby and everything set up on the inside. But once it's screwed on, your airbox